Hi, welcome to the Karen Blixen Museum. My name is Betty Karanja, I'm the senior curator here. Today is the International Museums Day. Happy International Museums Day to you. So, the theme this year is the future of museums, recover and reimagine. You see, when Corona happened, a lot of museums had to be closed down. That meant that most of you could not visit any of our museums. So what we have decided to do is bring the museum to you. So we are going to take you on a tour of the coffee aspect of the Karen Blixen Museum, because we know Karen came to Kenya to plant coffee. So I'm going to hand you over to one of our guides called Kefa, and he's going to take you through that story of Karen Blixen and the coffee growing aspect of her story here in Kenya. After that, I'm going to hand you over to Gilbert. Gilbert is one of our exhibit designers, and he's going to take you through an art session. I hope you enjoy the tour, and hopefully we'll come back to you with more of these tours.
Hello, my name is Kefa. I'm going to talk to you about Karen and her connections to coffee. In the early 1900s, when she came here, she started a business of coffee cultivation. That is Arabica coffee cultivation. The Arabica coffee cultivation the Arabica coffee that we are going to talk about originated in Ethiopia in the year 1850 AD. The plants then were distributed all over the world by the missionaries as a cash crop. This is a sample of Arabica coffee plant. The red ones are the ones that are ready for harvesting, and the green ones aren't ready for harvesting. Harvesting is done twice a year, and the harvesting is done by hand picking. So what we do is we pick the red beans. We separate the outer part from the inner part. Then after that we dry the beans. Then after drying the beans we roast them. Then after that they are grinded. I'm going to show you dried coffee beans. Then I'm going to show you the process of roasting them, grinding them, and making coffee. And now we are here at the coffee processing machine. I'm going to show you how coffee is, after harvesting, the process that the coffee undergoes. After harvesting the coffee, the pulp is removed. You can either use the pulping machine, or it can be done by the use of the hand. After removing the pulp, the coffee beans, the inner coffee beans, these are the inner coffee beans, are fermented. Then after fermentation, that's to remove the sugary parts from the coffee, they are dried using the steam drying machine. Sometimes we can use the sun, but the steam drying machine during that time was quite easy as compared to the sun. This takes 24 hours, and the sun takes, that's 21 days. So the coffee drying machine works in a way that, that's a boiler. The downer part is for fire and the upper part is for water. So the fire eats the water, and then this is a blower. The blower helps in blowing the steam to the other side. But steam still contains some liquids on it. The funnels that we see here are to remove the liquids from the steam, so that the air that goes into the bigger container is warm, dry air. In the bigger container, that's where we put coffee, and then it rotates all the way around for the coffee to dry evenly. Here at Karen Blixen Museum, we've planted different varieties of Arabica coffee. We have 11, Batian, SL28 and K7. However, the coffee that Karen planted was the original Arabica coffee plant. That's before the introduction of a different species. So after drying the coffee beans, the dried coffee beans are creamish in color, and then you roast the coffee. After roasting the coffee beans, they become darkish in color. So what Karen used to do during that time, what they used to do, you take the roasted coffee beans, then you grind them using coffee grinders. These are coffee grinders. You insert the coffee beans inside the coffee grinders, then you rotate the handle to grind the coffee. Then the ready coffee comes to the other side. After drying the coffee beans were then packed in sacks and then packed on top of the wagons. These wagons were used to transport coffee from our farm, that's Karen Blixen's farm, to the railway station in Nairobi. That's in the middle of the city. Then the coffee was transported from Nairobi to Mombasa by train. Then from Mombasa, the coffee beans were transported to London by ship.
My name is Gilbert Ouma. I'm an artist based at the National Museums of Kenya. and today I'm going to show you how to do painting on t-shirts. So basically the material I'm going to use are acrylics, and the first step is actually to do the primings. So I'm going to take you through like the priming, but before we start the priming, we have to put something in between the t-shirts so as to prevent the paint going to the back side of the painting of the t-shirt. So we have this board in between. You can actually use anything like polythene or newspaper or just a book, anything that will cover like the area you're going to cover, the surface area you're going to cover. So we have that in place, and then I'm going to show you how to now do like maybe make the frame using the masking tape. So I'm using the masking just to kind of like, you know, mask out like a rectangular area where I'm going to have like a painting. So try and press it down so that when you apply your paint, it doesn't spread to like other regions other than where the mask is. So let me just, I want to try and do like smaller boxes in here. So I'm going to cut this masking tape into narrower strips to get like the desired, you know, sizes I want. Running like maybe midway, and you know, so like, you know, come up with creative like, you know, patterns and, you know, boxes. So I feel this is perfect, so I can now start painting. I'm going to take my white paint. What I'm using is titanium white. This is titanium white, and it's available at Textbook Center. If you're in Kenya, you can find this at Textbook Center. It is kind of like opaque, and apply it directly onto the t-shirt. Once you've worked with this, the paint, actually you tend to know like what amount of paint you need. But any excess paints actually can also be wiped away. So I'm gonna do 2 layers of this. This is the first coat, and then I'm gonna come back again and do like the second coat once this is dry. I'm gonna, you know, like let this dry for a few minutes, and then I come back and, you know, continue the painting. All right, now we're back, and the priming is actually relatively dry, so we'll continue with the painting. So today being the International Museums Day, we're working with this theme, reimagining and recovery. So today's paint is actually basically going to be on coffee, and Karen Blixen is known like for coffee farming. So we are going to do a painting depicting some of the farming implements and a bit of coffee berries on this t-shirt.
The current Blixen Museum is open daily
From 8:30 a.m. Come
visit the home of the famous author
out of Africa.
we love.
Visitors.
You are welcome.